The flight data recorder shows that when he lost engine 1, Dillard reduces speed to V2, exactly as trained. V2, 283 kilometers per hour, is the aircraft's minimum climbing speed. Dillard was doing everything by the book, yet still, the plane crashed. Marks and the investigation team start to question whether the emergency procedures are at fault. As part of any plane development, pilots rigorously test its handling in a variety of situations. But the investigators discover that DC-10 tests never covered a situation where the engine and pylon fall off and the slats retract. Calculating the exact effect on the aerodynamics, the team recreate 191's flight in a simulator. 70 takeoffs are simulated with exactly the same catastrophic loss of engine and slat retraction. 13 pilots try to correct the plane following the emergency instructions. Not one manages to save the aircraft. It's a shocking revelation. The training manual is wrong. The investigators conclude that reducing speed when the slats are retracted is the worst thing a pilot can do. It guarantees that the plane will stall in mid-air. This is exactly what happened to Flight 191. Captain Lux and co-pilot Dillard are not to blame. The news comes as a relief to Walter Lux's son, Michael.
It just gave him a little vindication that he was doing everything like any other senior captain would do in that terrible situation.
But even with the flaws in the emergency procedures, the investigators know that there was one instrument which should still have been able to save Flight 191. There is one final safety device which should have saved the stricken plane. When a DC-10 is about to stall, it makes a distinctive dual warning. The first is the stick shaker, which causes the pilot's yoke to vibrate. In addition, a light flashes. This combined warning alerts the pilot to increase speed immediately. But on 191, only Captain Lux had a stick shaker, and it wasn't working. This also lost power when the hydraulic system was ripped from the left wing. There is a backup power supply that reactivates the stick shaker, but to turn it on during takeoff is impossible, because the pilots are belted to their seats. This simple power switch proves to be the final nail in the coffin for the 271 people on board 191. Now, by rewinding the events of that fateful day, and by following the evidence uncovered during the investigation, we can finally reveal how Flight 191 crashed. 5 minutes to disaster. 191 taxis to runway 32R at Chicago O'Hare Airport, ready for takeoff.
American 191 on our way.
The fatal flaw that will down the flight starts 8 weeks earlier, when the DC-10 undergoes maintenance. As the engine and bulkhead are detached, a flange cracks. Every time the DC-10 takes off and lands over the next 8 weeks, the crack gets worse. 1 minute and 19 seconds to disaster. 191 starts its takeoff roll. During the roll, the cracked flange on the pylon fails. The pylon is now only supported by the front bolts. As the nose lifts for takeoff, the pylon rips away from the forward mount, up and over the left wing, taking 1 meter of the leading edge with it. This breaches the hydraulic systems and cuts off the electrical supply to vital cockpit instruments, including the stick shaker. 32 seconds to disaster. The pilots know that they have lost power from engine 1, but they can't see that they have lost the engine itself and part of the wing. Following emergency procedures, co-pilot Dillard slows to 283 kilometers per hour. The plane continues to climb steadily to 90 meters. Then, as the last of the hydraulic fluid drains away, the outboard slats are forced to retract, causing the plane to lose lift. The loss of electrical power means crucial warning signals fail to alert the pilots to the danger. 10 seconds to disaster. The plane rolls dramatically to the left. The pilots fight to correct this, but the aircraft continues to roll until its wings are past the vertical and the nose pitches below the horizon. At 4 minutes past 3 and 5 seconds, 191's left wingtip hits the ground and the aircraft explodes. Nobody on the plane survives. 273 people are dead. The catastrophe is still America's worst single-plane accident.
Trying to speed the maintenance process up and save a couple dollars has cost these people, my dad and 272 other people, their lives in a horrific airplane disaster.
After the investigation, the NTSB recommends fundamental improvements in the aviation industry. The US government orders a change in maintenance procedures. McDonnell Douglas redesigned the DC-10. Airlines install stick shakers for both pilot and co-pilot. Pilots are no longer required to reduce speed to V2 after the loss of an engine. But nothing will bring back the victims of Flight 191.
It was a life-changing event. Debbie and I were dating for a year and a half, a little more. You never think that you're going to lose somebody through an air crash.
The US government fines American Airlines just $500,000 for improper maintenance procedures. But the insurance settlement for the replacement value of 191 gives American Airlines $25 million more than they paid for it. McDonnell Douglas shares fall more than 20% after the crash of 191. Eventually, the company is taken over by its rival, Boeing.